It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Foul line, step back, 20-footer, got it! Mikal Bridges, a step back jumper over Oubre, and the Knicks on a 9-0 run have a 6-point lead.
Wembanyama left wing three. Wee rattles that one home. 17 for Victor, 93-58. 10 threes on the night here for San Antonio.
I'm just doing everything I can, like I said. Every day I'm doing stuff I'm supposed to do. Obviously recovering now, working. Like I said, doctor said 8 weeks at the beginning of the first MRI. So, I'm just going day by day and I feel better every day.
There's Luka Doncic, the Lakers star, talking about how frustrating it is. Doctor told him 8 weeks, so doesn't look like we'll be seeing him in the playoffs, PK. The Lakers down 1-0 against the Thunder, looking at Game 2 coming up tonight, and it doesn't look very good for them.
Oh, no.
Yes, imagine the anguish of Jazz fans everywhere that the Lakers might get knocked out of the playoffs. Spurs beat the Timberwolves 133-95. How'd you like that for a bounce-back game? A dominating 38-point win to tie the series at a game apiece.
Oh, I saw the score early, and that was it. I didn't check in on that, but
that
to
was
me,
enough for you.
That would be that Minnesota felt comfortable that they got what they wanted, which was the split. You always want to get 2, man. That's a bunch of talk. They needed to get 1, and then Anthony Edwards talking about loud as hell in Minnesota and all that. They were already looking ahead, which they should. It wasn't working for them, so be it. I mean, I don't think they were thinking they were going to sweep the Spurs.
That was a 24-point game at halftime when everybody had the chance to check out of that. And the Knicks beat Philly. Embiid doesn't go. Multiple injuries. Knicks win 108-102. Sixers look good for 3 quarters, but they only managed 12 points in the fourth quarter. They barely scored at all in the last 6 minutes of the game.
The last 6 minutes, they had 10 shots. 8 of them were threes, and they bricked all 3. Meanwhile, when it was 99-99 and the score with 6 minutes to go obviously is tied there, Brunson makes a 2-pointer, he makes another 2-pointer, and Bridges makes a 2-pointer. This is horrible basketball. It's boring. It's not worth watching. It's a lousy product when they do this, and it's just disgusting. If I were a Sixers fan, I would be irate. 10 shots, and one of them was a maxi layup that they conceded, basically, and the other 8 out of 9 were bricked threes. And the Knicks go and shoot 3 twos and make them. And there you go. 108-102. Let's see, that's 2, 4, 6. 108 minus 102 is 6. Whoever says you have to take threes is ridiculous. That's horrible, boring basketball.
The guy who was taking 2s at the end of the game was Paul George. He was settling, I thought he settled for contested mid-range jumpers, and he missed 3 of them. One of them, he definitely shouldn't have taken the shot.
Not at the end of the game.
And he also went to the hoop one
not at
time
the last,
and didn't hit the rim.
Not at the last
in the fourth
6
quarter.
minutes. Not in the last 6 minutes.
In the fourth quarter. Right. He stopped shooting because he wasn't coming close.
Well, he did shoot. He shot twice at the end there. I've looked at the stats.
There was one terrible one from the it was desperation from the near side for 3. I remember that one. I don't remember the other one. I'm sure he took it. He ended up 7 of 18 shooting the ball.
Well, they ended up 0 of 8 shooting the ball.
Yeah. Well, you're tired at the end of the game. Threes don't go in, but they'd been shooting them well early in the game, so you're right. They just kept firing them up. They actually outshot the Knicks from the three-point line 38% to 27%, but it didn't help them with the game on the line. Nothing helped them with the game on the line. And the Knicks tried to help them. The Knicks, they were turning the ball over left and right and getting trapped up against the half-court line and pretty basic stuff, but they got away with it because then Philly would go down and fire it up at the other end and miss. So, didn't cover themselves in glory in that fourth quarter with the Knicks outscoring Philly 19-12. It was a mess. But the Knicks are now up 2-0. Other game tonight, Cavs and Pistons at 5 before that Lakers-Thunder game at 7:30. They're both on Amazon Prime Video tonight. Celtic star Jaylen Brown said he hopes to remain with the franchise long-term, despite comments that Tracy McGrady made recently saying that Brown has a frustration that lies deeply within the Boston organization. Brad Stevens downplayed it as well, so we'll see what the future holds for the Celtics. Plenty of speculation that Brown could be on the move. Giannis Antetokounmpo's speculation continues. Jimmy Haslam, co-owner of the Bucks, says, I just think before the draft is a natural time because if Giannis does play somewhere else, we've got to have a lot of assets. That's the GM's job to do, and if he's here, then you build the team differently. So, been talking about it for like 3 years now. Maybe they'll finally do something with Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
New York City, the Jets, how did that go? Your visit out there?
It's great. They offered me, and I'm trying to figure out what's the next best thing to do and all that. And just, I still know I can play ball and do that at a high level, but also, I think that, the opportunity to do TV too is great. So we'll see what happens.
37-year-old Russell Wilson, does he go to the Jets to back up Geno Smith? Does he go take a TV opportunity just referenced, or does he do something else? He's out there trying to sort that out. We've seen this before, PK. Pretty hard to give up the game, right? It is so fabulous. You get to play for one more year. If it's a backup, should you do it? Should you just walk away and get on to the next thing because inevitably that's coming?
Yeah, I don't see him playing much. I don't think he can play at a high level anymore. He's fallen off the cliff probably 3-4 years ago, just that he hasn't realized it. When I first saw that headline, I thought, Zach Wilson's going into TV? It took me a second because I saw Wilson Jets.
It says Wilson Jets. Yeah, I get it, yeah. Whoa, hey, cool.
I thought, I got to look at this one. What's this about? And then I kind of laughed to myself, oh, you fool, it's Russell Wilson, which would make sense. He's far more of an accomplished quarterback to have TV want him. So that was kind of funny.
Patriots quarterback Drake May called Mike Vrabel a great human being and said he doesn't believe the coach's off-field issues will be a distraction for the defending AFC champs this fall. TMZ keeps coming out with stories. They're going to keep talking about it.
I don't know why. I mean, they cheated, and they're unique to that. I mean, it's not appropriate. We understand that,
but it's also not a new story.
It's
an old story.
We're going to go down the line of everybody who cheated now?
No, just these two.
I don't understand the fascination. I don't approve of it. I don't dismiss it. But they got caught.
At the same time, why is TMZ still presumably paying for photos and putting it out there?
I've been to Sedona. It's a very romantic place. I've been there many times.
Sedona. Can you beat the heat in Sedona? How much cooler is Sedona?
Yeah. It's cooler. I mean, it's warm everywhere in the summer around I don't know of a place that isn't, San Francisco maybe, and some of the places in the Northwest. But if you're comparing it to the Phoenix heat, yes, it is definitely cooler.
Yeah. Go up there and get 102 instead of 112 or something. Go to Slide Rock.
I've been there many times, and they have an outdoor little amphitheater. I've been up there to see concerts. There's a time when now it's been a while since I've been there, but there's a time coming not too distant future that I intend to be there again.
Yeah. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Pages swings, hits a drive to left, and this ball is gone. A 3-home run day for Andy Pages. It is 12-2.
Bases loaded, 2 down, bottom of the 10th inning. The atmosphere is incredible.
And the pitch on the way. Inside, Cubs win the ball game. The Cubs have won another one. Listen to this crowd.
Cubs fans loving it. A walk-off walk, PK. Bases loaded in the 10th. They walk it off against Cincinnati for the third straight game. And loving it.
Yes, they are.
Framber Valdez, 5-game suspension for intentionally throwing at Boston Red Sox shortstop Trevor Story earlier this week. The bench is cleared. The manager, A.J. Hinch, banned for a game. Look at baseball drawing a line in the sand. That was intentional. Sit down for a while. Miss a start, or at least push it back.
Banned for a game? It's a little strong.
Yeah. Suspended, banned.
Shoeless Joe Jackson was banned. He was suspended for a game. Angels and White Sox combined for 3 bases-loaded walks. The first time that's happened 3 times in the same game in at least 70 years. Angels win 8-2. We went out to the ballpark and we saw a bunch of bases-loaded walks. All right.
Hey, it's a way to get
Not
a
quite
rib.
the excitement they had at Wrigley Field where, yeah. You do get the RBI. A little more excitement in the Cubbies game than the White Sox game, but they won 18-21, so I guess you got to expect that. Paul Skeens had it going, 8 shutout innings, just 2 hits for the Diamondbacks, and Pittsburgh gets 1 run, and that's enough in a 1-0 victory. Paul Skeens coming off that Cy Young Award. How's it going?
Yeah, and I watched all 8 innings, and that was, it wasn't a dominant performance. What I'm getting at is he just didn't okay, here, guys, I'm just going to throw it by you. It was a dominant pitching performance, which I think is more important. That, he didn't have a lot of strikeouts. He wasn't just blowing people away with just a fastball that is a blur. And I think that is encouraging because there are times when you can't do that, but you've got to pitch. You've got to move the ball. You've got to locate it. You've got to change speeds and all that stuff. We know what that's all about. And he really did that. It was an excellent pitched game by Skeens, not just being probably, when he's growing up. I think he went to a Southern California kid. I think he went to the same high school as Nolan Arenado in Orange County. And, he probably just smoking everybody. And he went to Air Force and then over to LSU. But this was an impressive pitching performance by him. And they took him out after the 8th inning. And the 2 hits, it was really, one was just a little nubber that could have been scored in error, but they gave it a hit, and then Arenado came up. I was watching it, and then he got a legitimate hit, so that took any doubt away. But that was a great performance by him.
Would you rather see a well-pitched game by somebody who's crafty as opposed to somebody where it's all strikeouts and walks, and it's just fastball?
I want to see. I want to see great pitching.
Put in play.
It was great pitching. It was sensational. That's stuff that you can build on and use for years to come. Even as you get a little older, and maybe the velocity isn't as dominant as it once was when you were in your early 20s. If you know how to pitch, obviously the poster child for that is Greg Maddux.
The Bees lose to Oklahoma City 12-7. They'll play again tonight, 5:35. Tony Parks will be on the air. Listen on 1280 The Zone. DJ and PK.
#golf.
PGA Tour has a pair of events this week with the Truist Championship and Myrtle Beach Championship. Tony Finau is in the Truist. Patrick Fishburne and Zach Blair are in the field at Myrtle Beach. 2 events the same week. I wonder if this is what we're going to see more of, PK, as they limit the number of weeks they play. I would think they still have to provide some opportunities for the rest of the tour to play. I guess if they get rid of the limited field, that opens up a few more playing spots for guys, but we're going to have to figure that out somehow.
Yeah, I just listened to Rory. He's talking about how Poppy just thinks it's her birthright there to eat cheese sandwiches at the Masters. The more stories of his daughter Poppy, the better.
the better you feel.
Yeah. And he's talking about
DJ and PK.
Talking about Jack Nicklaus giving him advice. It's a pretty cool story.
Hashtag NHL.
Here's Byram right up the middle with a shot. Scores! Bo Byram bangs it home with 10:59 remaining in the second period, and the Buffalo Sabres are up 4-1 in Game 1.
A loose puck right there for Jeffrey Viel, who guns it into the empty net.
That's actually going to be Jansen
Harkins. I beg your pardon. So he'll get a goal in his first Stanley Cup playoff game, and the Ducks have a 3-0 lead with 3.5 to go.
Ducks beat the Vegas Golden Knights in Las Vegas 3-1, so that series is tied at a game apiece. And former Mammoth Josh Doan with the opening goal and then assisting on the second goal as the Sabres beat the Montreal Canadiens 4-2 in their series opener. Tonight, Carolina and Philly. Carolina's up 2-0. Philadelphia at home trying to stay in the series and avoid that 3-0 hole. That game's on TNT at 6 o'clock. And the NHL salary cap goes to $104 million next year. That's an $8.5 million increase. Salary floor will be $77 million, and the max you can pay a player is $20.8. So now Bill Armstrong knows what he has to work with, PK, is that cap gets reset, and like everything else, this seems to be going up, 104.
Yeah, we'll see what he does there. You mentioned TNT. I want to pay a little homage to the passing of Ted Turner, one of the originals in the sports world. Now, he also had another bunch of stuff. CNN, when they played it straight, he was a pioneer in a sense, starting the Superstation and all that. Saw Dale Murphy making videos talking about him and put out a statement about what Ted Turner. I mean, he was somewhat eccentric, but he also was a revolutionary in a way.
Without question, he was on the cutting edge, and he was eccentric. Everybody had stories about him yesterday, and kicking the clubhouse door on the way out, and breaking a toe, and hobbling in the next day. And one night he decided to manage the team. They shut that down. There's a rule you can't own and manage. So that got shut down after one game, but he did that. Launched TBS and then TNT. Definitely revolutionized the way we watch sports in the 80s.
Yeah.
He was on the cutting edge of that for sure.
Right.
He was a sailor for a while, got way into the America's Cup, and he was launched the Goodwill Games. Remember those, PK? The alternative to the Olympics, when the Olympics were getting boycotted twice in 8 years.
He had a wrestling promotion he ran
He did
for
a
a
lot
while.
of stuff.
Well, he did the wrestling, yeah. And I think they was in the same building as CNN.
It was.
It was like on the second floor, third floor.
Yeah.
It was above the newsroom.
The newsroom was on the first floor.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was kind of a Bill Veeck kind of guy in terms of trying stuff. Charlie O. Finley, those guys that were a little bit off the wall, always trying new stuff. But actually, he's known for some real good stuff, too.
What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Matt Tate covering the Kansas Jayhawks for Wave the Wheat and R1S1 Sports is going to join us at 8:30 as our college football spring tour continues. And Matt Babcock from the NBA, he's an NBA and draft analyst for Babcock Hoops, will join us at 9 o'clock to talk about the draft with the lottery coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock. DJ and PK, the question of the day is next. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeComb.
Why is BYU not coming to Logan? It's great that they're playing BYU, but why is there no return trip? Getting this rivalry just on the books in some way, shape, or form is huge. For Utah State, they need quad one games. In the landscape of college basketball, it would not surprise me one bit if Utah State called up Kentucky or called up Kansas. And I wouldn't surprise me one bit if Kentucky's like, sure, hold please, click, Kansas, click, because I don't think these teams teams are interested in building other teams' resumes, especially G5 resumes.
The bottom line is the power schools have always and definitely currently hold the cards. For BYU to work with Utah State and get 2 dates on the calendar in today's basketball world, I mean, it's definitely a win. It's a win for both. It's a win for the state. I wish last year they were on the schedule.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
This Mother's Day, give her more than just a gift. Give her comfort she'll feel every single day. Now enjoy special Mother's Day deals. 50% off any regularly priced blanket with the code ZONE50. Shop online at minkycouture.com or in the store. But remember that code, ZONE50, and save yourself 50% at Minky Couture this Mother's Day. PK, the question of the morning, the looming large. What kind of a college football playoff do people want? 16? 24? Is 24 too many, or is that just about right? Vernon, it's too many. I think 16 is plenty to include all the conference champs and Notre Dame, should they be in, at least the top 10 and 5 at-large teams. There's no chance that format is hold. There is a 0% chance they're letting in all the conference champions. Not happening. There'll be more at-large teams.
Yeah, I don't think the
Brooks
AAC is going to have a guaranteed bid. So I agree with you there.
No. Yeah, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West both getting their champs in. Nope. Brooks says 16 would be good, but either way, the playoffs need to start the week after the regular season ends. You know, like every other sport. I think that's going to happen. Don't you feel like the momentum to get rid of these conference title games is really building? They're gonna try to figure out if they can get more money out of 8 playoff games than out of these conference title games, and I expect the answer to that is yes, they can.
Well, you ask yourself which one is more important. For the majority of them, it's going to be the playoff. It's not going to be the conference title game. Mm-hmm. And the expansion of the playoff has essentially killed the conference title game in the manner of, allowing black players, Jackie Robinson, breaking the color line. Well, what did that do? Ultimately, it caused the demise of the Negro Leagues, right? I mean, that's a much more serious thing there. But, you have that, and those things go away. So I think it's the same type of premise here. There's no need for that conference title game. So the things that matter more would be a playoff game. So if something matters more, then logic would dictate that it would cost more, and you'd earn more money that way. So I've been on that bandwagon for years, that the conference title game, at least 2 years, once they expanded the playoff, it's like, well, what's the point of these things here? And I always thought it was silly anyway. What's the point of playing 9 games and then you got to play one more, and somehow that one more carries all the importance in the world? For basketball, I know they do it, but for teams that have a legitimate chance to advance, winning the conference tournament doesn't really matter. You're going to get in. I realize there's a slew of lower level, Big Sky, Big West type of conferences, that is the avenue to get in. But then there's a 95% chance that those teams lose the first game anyway. And that's why, and that's fun for them. So I don't have any problem with it in basketball for those lower conferences to get that opportunity to get in there. And plus, it's more fun viewing. It's not like they would replace that with the NCAA tournament. So if we didn't have that, we may not have anything that week, and that would stink. I want viewing options. Whether I want to watch it or not, it's up to me. But I want the option. And one of the reasons why I don't want this thing to go to 24 is, what does it do to the bowls for the teams that aren't as good, and they have that opportunity to play one more game? and the New Mexico States of the world, as I've told that story covering New Mexico State, Utah State, and Tucson, and just see the sheer joy, literally the sheer joy in the eyes of the New Mexico State players when they won that game in overtime. I don't want to have that taken away from those kids. Those kids aren't probably going to have much of a chance to play in the NFL, and this is where they had an opportunity to play, and there's nothing wrong with that. Going to New Mexico State and having an opportunity to play 4 more years of college football, yeah, I think is only a positive. It's not a negative. And then they got in the Tucson Bowl. I don't even remember I think it's just called the Arizona Bowl, whatever it was called. And I wouldn't want that taken away. And I would be concerned that if you expanded to 24, that those types, for those kids who aren't going to make the playoff and really literally have virtually no chance to be in there, I don't want to deny them the opportunity. I don't want to deny the tennis players in Arkansas the opportunity to play tennis. And I saw Wichita State is going to eliminate men's and women's golf. I don't like that. I want all those kids to have those opportunities. Now, I'd prefer maybe they not go all over the world and bring in a lot of foreign kids and maybe, look to have more American kids on those teams, but that's another story.
I don't think the bowl games – I think we'll definitely lose some bowl games, and no question some would go away. The way the L.A. Bowl went away and the game of Detroit went away, I think some of those bowl games will go away if it's expanded to 24. But I still think there'd be 24, 25, whatever bowl games because there's 80 bowl-eligible teams, and what are they going to do with those? And ESPN still gets a lot of viewers for them, and they won't have any playoff games to put on – December 28th, 29th, 27th, midweek. The playoffs would end up dominating those Saturday schedules, to be sure. And some bowl games would go away, to be sure. But I'd be surprised if there weren't still 20, 25 bowl games out there because there'll be teams, those bowl games that match 7 and 5 teams, those teams are still going to be available. The 8 and 4s, the 6 and 6s, the G5 teams. The thing that would kill the bowls, I think, that could really threaten them is if they end up one day doing a separate G5 playoff. That would really take the steam out of it because I think those are a lot of the teams. In a 2014 playoff, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are going to maybe get one team in, and they both figure to have, 4 or 5 bowl-eligible teams. So I think the New Mexico Bowls of the world, the Poinsettia Bowls, the Hawaii Bowls, that they'll still be teams for those games.
Okay, but great. But you just acknowledged that some would go away. And if you're on the Arkansas women's tennis team, you don't want to have it go away. And so the 27th and the 28th teams, I want those young men to have an opportunity to play ball. So it doesn't mean anything to you, I get it, but to them it would mean a lot.
Right, but the bowl games that would be going away are the ones that are replaced by the playoff games. I mean, there were just going from 12 to 24 could cost 6 bowls their matchups, and they go away. But those 12 teams would then be playing playoff games. So that's an upgrade. It's not the absence of a
That sounds good, but I don't know that that's true.
You get a game that matters.
Yeah, but you just made up that theory. I mean, you don't necessarily know that it's true. I mean, I give you credit for making up it and making it and presenting it as if it's a fact. But I mean, you just told me other bowls have gone away, but somehow when the playoff starts, the same amount of people were participating when we've lost bowls already? I'm not so sure.
Well, the LA Bowl got replaced by the Poinsettia Bowl. So, yes, a bowl went away and a new bowl came back. I think the Bahama Bowl went away, but they started a game in Puerto Rico. So bowl games have been coming and going for a long time.
Well, I mean, this is not like the cycle of life here. For everybody who dies, there's somebody who's born. I don't know.
Sing it. It's a Disney film.
I don't know that.
It's ESPN. It might as well be a Disney film.
That's a circle of life. I did the cycle. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I hope you're right, but that's a concern, and that is still my concern, no matter how much you want to present a theory as fact.
Yeah. I think they're still going to need bowl games on the Tuesday and Wednesday between the quarters and the semis. So.
I hope so. Ball. Absolutely. That's my number one concern. I think 24 is too big. I don't want to see fourth-place teams in the conferences getting in. And it's just going to be more power teams.
You don't want to see Arizona and Houston.
It's not going to be Arizona and Houston. It's going to be SEC and Big 10.
I looked at their rankings last year. Arizona and Houston would have been in off last year's rankings. I mean, they would have been there. Utah would have been in last year.
Well, then why have a committee? Then if it's just structure it, then there's no voting on it. If you're guaranteeing me that those would have been in and not taking into account human voting, because we don't know how it's going to be set up. I mean, maybe you do. I don't.
Well, assuming that there's still a committee, this is how the committee ranked them last year at the in the final.
And how do we know that the committee would rank them that way if the pressure's on to get the SEC? There's a lot of assumption here that doesn't fly as fact. Either if it's not a fact, then it's not a fact. And there's no assumptions that are facts. They may become facts, but when they're assumptions, they're not facts. They become facts when they are facts. And I don't know that that's necessarily a fact because I don't know how they would have voted. I don't think that the two power conferences the commissioners that decide this, the Big Ten and the SEC, I don't think they're doing it man, we got to get Arizona and Houston in here. I just don't see it.
They would have found a way to take a team like Tennessee and get them in, who wasn't in the rankings but had a pretty good year.
And Notre Dame obviously would have been in.
Oh, Notre Dame would have been in for sure.
Yeah.
You know, the thing at 12, and this is where NIL, for all the people who are worried, well, with NIL, the big teams will have all the best players. Well, actually, the best players are moving around chasing money and playing time. And Miami got the last – I mean, they went in as the 10th team, and Tulane and James Madison, the last two were conference champs, and so they had a rule to put those two in. So Miami gets in with, BYU, Notre Dame, Texas, all lobbying to some degree and upset or disappointed to some degree or another. And then Miami wins 3 games. I mean, there is more parity. And in a 4-team playoff, Miami would have never been in, but they won 3 games. And they gave Indiana their best playoff game. Of the 3 playoff games Indiana played, 2 of them were blowouts, but the Miami game was competitive. So.
Oh, yeah, I don't have any problem with Miami getting in. It's the teams that got left out, not the teams that got in. The teams that got in deserved to get in. There were just other teams deserved to get in, too. It's not one versus the other. That's why I'm fine with expanding it to 16. I think 24 is too much.
The other thing about saying that you're not a conference champ, don't get in, is like this has never been more bizarre. The leagues are so big, you only play half the league. Having a conference title game helps a little, but it still doesn't sort it out in all the situations. Had that funky 4-way tie 2 years ago. So, hey, you're not a conference champ. You're not in the top 12. I'm glad they're making this tournament bigger. I don't mind 24.
Yeah.
It's not, and the way, the problem is if I sit here and go, 24, it's got to be 24. The next thing you'd say is, are you going to watch all those first-round games? And the answer is, no, probably not. But a lot of people will watch all those first-round games. Certainly I'd watch the ones involving the teams that matter more to us. I mean, local teams who already watch every game, but, all the Big 12 teams. Like you said, USC, who we used to follow close, we didn't. Did they get in a 16 or 24-team tournament? At 9-3, they would have been right on the bubble. And I'd watch them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not concerned about what you watch. I mean, I'm concerned about the level of competition and what it does to the regular season, how much it waters it down, because college football has a special regular season, and people get excited and get amped up for it, and it's a big deal. And if you should have one of the 2 game days, Fox or ESPN, come to your campus, like last year before the A&M or the Texas Tech game, it was an earlier game, and the place was lit. I got there way early, walked around all over the place, just to experience it. And college football has a special regular season. I don't care about some TV ratings and what you're going to watch in December. I want to preserve something that has been very important to a lot of different people. And if you start expanding it, all you do is water that down, and you're going to have more guys sit out. And it's not going to mean near as much. And I'm not reflective of TV ratings. My TV career is over. I'm done with that. I had a good run, but now it's done. So be it. I'm fine with that. And I'm more concerned about other things. What college football has meant to me as a fan for all these years and what I've seen at so many different places because, man, if I counted up all the college campuses I've been to on a Saturday, it would probably number over 50. And they've all been fun. And to have that be reduced and minimized by a 2014 playoff, yeah, I don't like it.
50. That is a huge number. I don't doubt you're right. Makes sense.
That's just off the top of my head, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this a long time, obviously.
Yeah, but you've been to all of the, there were 12 Mountain West schools and 12 Pac-12 schools. So I know you got 24 off the top of your head.
Yeah.
And then you just blow through Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, LSU. I can start thinking of these games off the top of my head.
Right.
That you've been to.
Right. Notre Dame, Texas, blah, blah, blah.
TCU.
Yeah, for sure. And so, and I see what it means to people. And I see what it means to the folks here. To look at one of the great success stories is covering a Utah game in the 90s and then covering a Utah game in the 2020s. Now, the game is the game, but I'm just talking about walking around and
the scene.
Talking to people. The scene is just super impressive, and I don't want to reduce that.
Yeah, I don't think you will.
I think the regular season gets watered down, man. The regular season gets. I don't see how the regular season doesn't get watered down. I don't see how you're thinking, well, I can sit one of these guys. If your quarterback is hurt and you're getting into November and you have just about a 90% chance of getting in the playoff, are you playing him? No, you're sitting him. Whereas, man, if you needed that game. Utah, staying on the Utah theme, there were several games in November over the years before they finally broke through. They needed those games. And that's why those games were huge. And they couldn't get it done. Then eventually they got it. Not necessarily eventually, but sooner they got it done. And it was a big, big freaking deal. Yeah. I don't want that to change. And then just the 1 year that they got in the opportunity, they needed 3 other things to happen. And that Saturday after Thanksgiving, it was immense. It's immense. I'm texting the coach. They play Colorado earlier in the day. I'm in a hotel in the Boulder area. They get on the plane, so they go home. And we're texting back and forth as we're watching late games. Now, if that ruins it right there. If they know they're in, where's the drama? Where's the excitement, the mystery? That's all gone at 24. And I'm not sure I want that. I'm not diametrically 100% opposed to it because I'd have to see how it works. I'm sort of talking off the cuff here, thinking of downsides to this. Maybe there isn't, but in my mind, it's worth discussing. And I'm literally texting with the coach, going back and forth on plays that are happening in a game at 9:30, 10:30 at night. And I'm sitting there in a hotel, and he's probably at home. Or maybe he might be at the office, who knows. And I just concerned that stuff goes away because you'd already be in. What's the big deal?
Well, the big deal once you're in is do you get one of the buys so you're into the second game? Do you get a home game? Do you have to go on the road? There's still all kinds of things.
Oh, sure. But then last year you're telling me the teams who had the buys, they got beat. And now all of a sudden that's an advantage?
Yeah, well, when a bye means 21 days off, that's a disadvantage. Under this scenario, you're going to be playing every week.
So 14 is an advantage.
1 week off is different than being off. Look up Oregon when they had a bye until they played on like New Year's Day and got smoked. I mean, it was ridiculous how long they were off. It's forever.
So 14 is the magic number where it's acceptable, but 15, oh my gosh, you're screwed? That's what you're telling me. Come on.
We've seen teams negotiate a bye week in the regular season. We've seen it help. We've tracked coaches who have spectacular records when they get an extra week of preparation and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, if you're not playing in your conference championship game, you missed the first round. So from the end of the regular season until New Year's Day or New Year's Eve for a quarterfinal, yeah, that's a crazy setup. That's too long.
Sure, but that wouldn't be a setup here that way. It wouldn't be as long. It'd just be a week, right?
And I think then that's when the bye can become an advantage.
Yeah. Especially in those, and I'm sure you've tracked all those buys, their advantages. When Oregon played Chico State the week after the bye, I mean, you have no idea who they played. You just look at some raw numbers and you draw a conclusion as if it's a definitive, undisputed fact. I don't do that.
Isn't it great?
If for you it is, yeah. It gives you
DJ and
something
PK,
to do.
it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We got more football coming up with Matt Tate, covering the Kansas Jayhawks for Wave the Wheat and R1S1 Sports. He's coming up at 8:30. Matt Babcock on the NBA draft. He's from Babcock Hoops. He'll be here at 9 o'clock. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome to This is Jay Scott and Ben Anderson.
I'm surprised you think the Spurs are so unbeatable.
Well, I do think Victor Wembanyama is probably already the second best player in the NBA. Okay. I think he has made that huge jump. Steph Castle's been awesome. They seem to know exactly what their identity is. I don't know. Maybe I'm underselling Minnesota. Probably am. Be very curious how they handle Victor Wembanyama.
You're going to handle it with Rudolph.
Again, I would not have been excited about it otherwise. And I think Chris Finch is a good playoff coach. They'll have some things from San Antonio. I don't think this is going to be a 4-game series. Probably not even a 5-game series.
I don't know if there is another player in the NBA that I would pick if we were doing, fantasy draft stuff, and I had to play against Victor Wembanyama. I'd probably pick Rudy.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
DJ and PK. PK, it was 37 years ago today that Michael Jordan made that floating double-pumping shot over Craig Elo, a major chapter in the building of a legend. There are a lot of chapters in that story, to be sure. We watch a lot of sports trying to get those kind of moments, those kind of personalities, and that kind of magic. You just said you'd been to probably 50, number off the top of your head, but it sounds ballpark right to me, 50 college football campuses. How many moments are there? How many moments do you think we get in a year or in a decade or whatever time period you want that match up with that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? That moment where you remember, I remember that. And electric if you're watching live.
Do I have to be there, or can I just be watching it?
No, on TV is good enough. You don't
Okay.
have to be at the game.
Yeah. I
think watching Rory finish the career slam and win the Masters, that was that kind of moment. He's a big personality in the history of the game, and we knew the story. For Jordan, it was a struggle he was a great scorer, but you got to win in the playoffs and you got to advance. And he was, getting 5 years deep in his career, so he needed to make that shot and win that series, and they did.
Well,
and Rory, he's going to have more chances, but man, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was awesome,
and he got it.
I think for Jordan, the fact that he won the 6 titles and became the ultimate legend, if that would have been the highlight, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. It still would have been a phenomenal play and a phenomenal shot, but it was accentuated by what was to come. And so those were the early signs, right? And so with that in mind, sure,
yep.
You can understand that. But, yeah, I mean, there are moments that stand out to me as a fan. Doug Flutie, I happened to be watching that. Was against Miami, right? And the thing about it is, and I'm living in Phoenix at the time.
Against Miami.
And it was a rainy day. A rainy day in Phoenix. Not a rainy night in Georgia, a rainy day in Phoenix. And we don't get those many days that, where it rains the whole day. You just don't get that. A lot of it's the rain is those dust storms in the evening in the summer. They account for like 80% of the rainfall. So I remember watching the game because I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't go outside. It was raining that day. And I was watching that game. Kirk Gibson's one-legged home run will live in my mindset forever as far as that goes. I mean, that was just an incredible moment. Kurt Gibson, former receiver at Michigan State. I don't know if I was watching. I think I was watching the Jordan thing, but I've seen it so many times. It's like the Daniel R. Ainge play against Notre Dame. I feel like I've seen. I feel like not only did I feel like I watched it live, I feel like I was courtside. I've seen that play so many times. Right?
I know I didn't see that one live. That was a different era. The Sweet 16 wasn't available. The Flutie thing was so shocking. It was Thanksgiving weekend. I was watching my dad and my brother, and we all yelled when it happened. It was at the end of an incredible shootout, a great back and forth game. They'd just given up the go-ahead score with 30 seconds left. You thought they were beaten. And we yelled, and my mom was taking a nap and came running out because she was sure somebody was hurt. No, it was a great play in a football game. She was so mad.
Why in your family it is always involving some form of bodily harm?
Because people carry their traumas. I don't know what to tell you, man.
If it might have been my mother, she would have yelled from the bedroom, "Shut the bleep up," and rub some dirt on it and walk it off. And that's the beauty of you. I remember nothing about what happened before. I just remember the play. I remember nothing else about the game.
Oh yeah, it was a great game. It was just an outstanding game. And I think more recent stuff we've seen like that. Villanova and North Carolina trading buckets at the end of the title game. Those two just big shots and a really well-designed three to win the game. And just that was. There were a lot of great NCAA tournament games, but it feels like we're getting fewer of the dramatic buzzer beaters. Actually, the best miss is Gordon Hayward from half court. That would have been something if it had gone in, but it was amazing just hitting the back of the rim.
Yeah, I don't know if I really. I mean, it's a miss technically, but I don't count on half court shots of going in to win games. And
nope.
Not that it's necessarily a fluke, because I'm sure he practiced that probably 100 or so times in his life. And when you're doing that, you never know when that's going to happen, so you might as well practice it.
I don't think I was watching Jordan live. I think I saw later that day cut in or whatever in another game. I'm not that. But the one I remember watching live was when Lillard hit that 38-footer or whatever it was over Paul George. I remember thinking, what is he doing? What is he doing?
Wow, twice?
Go. And instead he's just dribbling the clock down to launch that thing. That was unreal.
What is he doing? What is he doing? You know, in the CYO All-Stars, when I was in 8th grade of Morris Catholic High School in Denville, New Jersey, I nailed that shot that Gordon Hayward missed. Right side, time running out, banked it. Place went nuts. But it was only to end a quarter. It wasn't to end the game or halftime. We had quarters then in CYO. And I threw the ball, got the ball, chucked it up. Two guys collided. The ball bounced back to me at half court. I heaved it from the hip and banked it in.
The thing I remember about the Cleveland game was that Elo had just scored with 3 seconds left to put the Cavs ahead before Jordan made the shot. What I didn't know until I saw this go by on social media was that Jordan had made a go-ahead hoop with 6 seconds left. So, yeah, I don't have any recollection of that. So, can't remember them all.
I had a friend.
All right, DJ and PK. Yep.
Who played basketball at USC when George Raveling was the coach. And he was coaching Greg Hilo at Washington State. And my friend said everything that was good about basketball, Raveling would cite and Craig Elo story to the guys on the USC team. Got so sick about hearing about Craig Elo, they grew to hate him even though they had never met him.
I didn't know that about George Raveling. George Raveling was a great character in the history of college basketball. That's a good story. I hadn't heard that one. That's funny. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We got to take a break. When we come back, Jazz needs some lottery luck. How do you get it? Who's going to provide it? We will get to that coming up next. Stay with us.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.